wheels. Particularly, I just had an experience with my Cannondale Scalpel, which is an all-carbon XC racing bike. 29-inch wheels, very steep geometry at the front. It's got a lefty carbon fork. Really a great, almost as quick as a road bike, this thing. Weighs nothing. Anyway, I discovered that some of the spokes on the back wheel were loose, and as I sort of tried to tune it up and fix it, I took the spokes off in the end and discovered that the wheel itself, the rim of the wheel, was bent. No sign of damage, just a bent rim. Carbon rim as well. How does that happen? It's warped somehow. So I've got it underneath a whole bunch of steel trying to straighten it out, but I don't think it'll ever straighten out, but I'm trying anyway. But the point is, I needed a new wheel. So I mean, let me say before I say about the new wheel that when you buy a bicycle, say you buy a Pinarello or a Cannondale or a Santa Cruz, by far the most important thing on that bike is the wheels. And very often you're paying £5,000 for a bicycle that's got really, really cheap wheels. So you're buying a frame for £3,000, which is made in the same factory as every other carbon frame in Taiwan. It's probably cost $200 to make. Yes, there will be design costs involved, but you're a very expensive bike. You know, you're being ripped off. You're paying for a very, very fancy name. If you take Pinarello, you know, their frames are Colnago. Their frames are sort of £4,000 or £5,000, but if you don't have great wheels on your bike, you might as well have £100 frame on your bike. Anyway, so wheels are crucial, absolutely crucial, and you should spend much more on your wheels than you do on your frame or any other component by miles. So I made the error of trying to find a cheap replacement wheel for this Reynolds wheel, which is bent. And I went and bought a DT Swiss rim with something called a Novotec hub. It's a cheap Chinese hub with some standard Sapin spokes. And I got it this morning, and it's rubbish. You know, and it's all about perception, because my wheels tend to be, they're all Zips or Envy wheels on all my bikes. My Yeti's got Mavic Crossmax. I think one of my Santa Cruz mountain bikes has also got Mavic Crossmax. But they're all really, really good. And this new wheel that was just a couple £100, it's not good at all. And one way you can tell is if you spin it on the free hub, the zip will keep going for 2-3 minutes. It's like perpetual motion. There's no friction at all. The bearings are awesome. The pawls are awesome. Same goes for Mavic actually. Even £200-300 Mavic Crossmax wheels have got awesome hubs. Envy, of course, is sensational. But this Novotec, I don't know, that the pawls don't even seem to grab very well. It's brand new. And I'll show you, I've made a video of 3 wheels, the Zip 202, the Mavic Crossmax and the Yeti, and this new wheel, all initiated with the free hub. And you can see how they spin. You can see how 2 of them spin forever, and how this new one, this cheap Novotec, only spins for about 15 seconds before the inertia and the poorer bearings, I presume it's the poorer bearings, cause it to slow down. And I can't have this on a bike. I mean, what's the point of having a really expensive, high-end, super lightweight bike with a carbon lefty fork and putting you know, it's like hanging an albatross around your neck. Anyway, I'll now proceed to edit in these 3 videos of the wheels spinning, and thanks for watching. So I was looking for a solution for a bike that had a bent carbon wheel, and I bought well, I'll show you what I bought. Before I show you it, let me just show you what a Zip wheel sounds like in freewheel motion. This is a Zip 404, no, 202. Right, now this thing is perpetual motion. It'll keep running forever and ever and ever. There's almost no friction at all. Right, now let's go and see this new, still going, see, let's go and see this new wheel I bought. Just to make sure I'm being fair to the Novotec wheel, this is a Yeti with a Mavic Crossmax, which is not an expensive wheel or an expensive hub. It's been on the bike forever, 10 years. Let's see how this compares to the Novotec when we give it a spin. No comparison. This is zip-like performance. This is absolutely no friction, and that's with a massive heavy tyre on there to pull it back. And there might even be some brake disc drag. So this just proves that Novotec hub is absolutely awful. So this is the new wheel. It's obviously a bit cheaper. It's got a Novotec hub, which is very odd because at the end of it, probably can't see on this phone, but it looks like it's had an angle grinder on it to make the cassette bigger. You see, those machine does ground off bits of the hub nearest the spokes, the lighter bits. Very odd. Anyway, let's just see how long this spins on the free hub. And that was a fair old push. Let's just do that again, give it a real heave-ho and see what happens. Right, that's much more of a force than I put on the zip. And within seconds, it's finished. And this Novotec hub, which was recommended by the wheel supplier, is not a bad low-cost hub. There seems to be there's a lot of drag on this free hub. It's not really a free hub, it's a drag. Look at this, it just stops. The other thing I've noticed about this wheel, which is a DT Swiss rim, and they maybe haven't tuned it properly, although they're meant to be a specialist wheel builder, is it's not particularly true. If you look at the, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a wobble on the rim. Ever so slightly, about 1 millimetre on the left. There may be the tape in the middle, but this isn't true either. So here's the difference between a £400 or £500 zip wheel and this cheap bike, this cheap wheel, which was sort of a third of the price. Just astonishing. It's almost like the brakes are on compared to the Zip's amazing perpetual motion.